Hi, and welcome back. Since the last vlog, we took a trip to the Netherlands to visit family, socialize the dogs, and push the car over 250,000 kilometers. I also went hunting on my own for the first time, and it went very well for the animals. It was good practice to know what to wear and what to take, and although I didn't shoot anything, I did spot some deer on my walk through the forest. They just spotted me in time as well. A benefit of living in the hunting area is that when you spot some deer from the window, you can go out and hunt them. They were just a bit too far away and behind some bushes, so I didn't get a proper opportunity. It's getting cold again, so I'll get some firewood. Standing here while Clifford is going on his business. Clifford, the lawnmower. But yeah, I was out to get some wood because it's getting quite cold again. It's about 3 degrees and it's freezing at night. It's going to get slightly warmer again during the week, but it's good to start preparing for the actual autumn to come and the winter after. And now that I'm outside, I thought I'd show you some things that I did but have no footage of because I'm a lousy YouTuber and I just do stuff without filming them. One of them being the new roof for the heat pump. So there was already a roof, but it was falling apart a bit, so it needed a new one. So I just did that, and often when I'm impulsively doing things, I don't think about should I take some footage. No, I just go about doing them, and then when I'm finished I'm like, oh, it might have been good if I'd filmed that. Another thing that happened and that we're quite excited about, and I had hoped to be able to show in this vlog, but it's taking longer than we thought, is the fiber. So we have a fiber cable coming out of the ground here, which was already there when we bought the house, and also a reason why this house became just that little bit more attractive to us was that it had the possibility of fiber. And we thought, okay, we'll just call the fiber company and within a few months we'll have fast fiber internet. That appeared to be slightly different, but now someone came, put in some stakes in the ground to show where the electricity and fiber cable is for the digging crew, and someone also came and installed a little box on the house. So the only thing that now needs to be done is the cable to be dug from where it comes out of the ground to that little box, and then probably some small additional actions to actually make the connection and put light on the cable to our house. They've told us we need to be done before winter, so expect us within like 1 to a few weeks. So it's been 3 weeks now, we haven't seen anything. The good thing is they can just come here, we don't need to be home for it. They can, because everything inside the house is done. But so yeah, we've been waiting in anticipation, and some things I've been like, oh no, I'll just wait with doing that, with downloading that big thing or uploading that big thing until we have fiber, because it's not going to take that long. And then, yeah, it's been 3 weeks, so it's all relative. But so I'm hoping within a few more weeks that we have fiber, because otherwise, yeah, in October somewhere you can expect the first snow, and maybe in November the ground will be frozen, so they won't be able to dig. So I'm hoping soon a digging crew will come and dig the final, well, what is it, maybe 10 meters to the house, and that we can finally have decent internet. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that little update of things I hadn't filmed but have done, and then we can go on to the things I did film that I did. So I hope you enjoy, and see you next time. Bye. So I put a new sight on my 308. It's the one I got with my 22 long rifle package, and well, new sight means calibrating it again. So I set up a sort of shooting range in the garden in a bit of a valley, shooting down towards the ground so that the bullets are caught and the sound is minimized. And I put it on a bench loosely in a vise, so that I can mostly eliminate human motion swaying. But the downside of putting it on a bench is, of course, the shoulder against the butt of the gun well enough. So then you might get punched by the sights. So that happened twice, I'm ashamed to admit, before I figured out how to on the ground next to the bench, so that I could properly support the gun with my shoulder. So it's been calibrated. This sight has a much bigger end here, which means there's more light coming in, so it's easier to see when you put it on 5 times enhancement. This one goes up to 9. I had some trouble yesterday in the local moose shooting range. Yeah, because I just had a hard time keeping the gun on my shoulder, my eye aligned with the sights, and then keeping the moving target in view and shooting. So the first time I did it, I used support, like a shooting cane. That went well, but now I wanted to practice without, because usually maybe in the forest you don't have your cane with you, or you have to shoot quickly because you don't have time to get it. So I also want to be able to, shoot a moving target without shooting support, without the cane. So that didn't go too well. So I looked at the sight, and that is like, it has a 20 diameter optics at the end, and then I compared it with the one I got with the 22 long rifle, and that has a 40 or 42, so much bigger. So it's a lot easier to keep your target in sights while you're moving. With the other one, it comes very precise, and I'm sure that's fine for people with skill, but I don't have that yet. So I thought I could use all the help I could get. I did have to fiddle with it a bit to get it to fit. These parts were a bit too far apart. So then they would clamp down on the widening bits of the sides. So I had to, you know, adjust these mounting rails a bit so that they could, you know, the visor could sit a bit, or this mounting bracket could sit a bit further forward. I'm not sure. I think that's fine, but it could be that it has, you know, done something to the stability of how this is mounted, but we'll see. After calibrating the new sights, I went to the moose range again, and it went very well. Although I think I might buy some proper sights next year, I think that I'm all set for this year's hunt.
Hank.
For a bit of fun, we fired a few rounds before cleaning up the target again.
There, Loki.
This was also a good opportunity to fire my shotgun for the first time to see if it felt good and if the spread was okay. It did, and it was.
Good so, Hank. Yeah.
I recently ordered this little laser bullet. So it's basically a laser pointer, the shape of a bullet. So I'll try that out. And so last time I calibrated my sights, I calibrated them well enough, but I have the feeling it's maybe a few centimeters to the left. So I'll just do the left-right final calibration with this laser. If it's off too much, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to shoot it and test it again, because I don't know yet if I can really trust this. And I won't touch the up-down calibration either, because that seemed fine. So yeah, I'll put in the batteries, load it in the barrel, and then I'll aim it into the barn where it's nice and dark so that I can clearly see the laser pointer. And then yeah, then we'll see. It's really difficult to see in the daylight. I don't know if that's going to work. Oh, I can see the laser in the barn. There we go. Now it's perfectly centered. Some people have suggested to me to get a wood splitter to make the job of chopping firewood, or at least preparing firewood, a bit easier and more efficient. But I just enjoy doing it by hand, or by axe anyway. It's a bit of an exercise. It's enjoyable, and it's true what they say, that if you do it this way, the wood hits you 3 times. Once when you take it out of the forest, and then once when you're splitting it, and then the last time when you heat your house with it. So maybe in a few years, when I've gotten tired of it, or we start using more wood, then I might get a splitter. But for now, it's just more of a nice bit of exercise, a hobby really. So I don't see any point in buying a wood splitter, because then it wouldn't be as enjoyable. It would be more of a chore. And we don't go through that much firewood. Sure, a lot more than if you would be living in a warmer climate, but not as much as some people here in Scandinavia do, that heat their water, their bathtub, their sauna, everything, or maybe multiple houses, guest accommodation with firewood. Then you might want a more efficient method of splitting it. So for now, perfectly happy with doing it by axe. Find it quite enjoyable. So I'll keep doing it this way. I have taken the comments about firewood storage to heart though, and now only store a little wood inside to prevent mold and other infestations. Well, something went wrong with the recording. I spent probably 15 minutes starting it, then shutting it off and seeing if I could start it again, because if I want to sell the snowblower, then I do want it to start. It doesn't need to be perfect, because I'm not going to ask a lot of money for it, but it needs to start in some reliable fashion. But I did get it to start a few times, and it ran, and I know from last time that when it runs and it's warmed up, then it does start again very easily after that. But the first time is just a pain to get it started, because it's a very specific combination of the choke, the gas, and then you need to manually kind of wiggle it, or I don't know, it's like lock picking it, putting the choke on the exact spot, putting the gas on the exact spot, and then it needs to get over a hump, because it just coughs at the start, and then it needs to clear out the pipes kind of before it gets the right mixture of petrol and air. And I'm not great with engines. I don't enjoy it, so I did tinker with it a bit last year to get it running more reliably. So last year it was also, when it was warm, it sometimes just stalled and you couldn't get it running again. I fixed that last year by just taking off something that was obstructing the air intake. But yeah, so I didn't really find a way to get to start it reliably, to show it to someone who wants to pick it up and feel good about asking money for it. Because if you can't start it reliably, you have to get out in the snow for 15 minutes faffing about with this thing. That I know that frustrates the hell out of me, and I don't really want to do that to anyone and ask money for it. So I might just give it away for free to someone who thinks they might make a halfway decent machine out of it again. But let's see if I can get it running for last time. Yes. So someone came to pick up the snowblower. I did put it on Facebook Marketplace for free because yeah, just didn't feel right asking money for something that didn't work reliably. That's just how I am. I know a lot of people don't have that issue, that they don't want to put things online when they don't work, because those websites are always full of stuff that doesn't work and people are asking a lot of money for. But anyway, I put it online, and then I think it was 3 minutes later I got a message asking, is this still available? Yeah, of course it's still available, and they were offering money for it. So I thought it was going to be a scam. Someone's going to, I don't know, ask me for something unlikely, because who's going to offer money for something that's listed as free? So I got a message saying, yeah, can I pay 400 crowns for it? So I didn't respond because spam. And then they said, well, 600 is also fine. So then I thought, okay, I'll buy it. Let's see what type of scam this is going to be. But then they came to pick it up this morning, paid me 600 crowns in cash, and then they took it away. So I did check his profile, and it was like a profile that had been online for a long time. He had sold a lot of lawnmowers, so I think it's a guy that buys broken or old lawnmowers, and probably also snowblowers and that type of garden equipment, fixes it up or gives it a bit of love and then sells it on for a higher price as a hobby or as an extra income. So that's all fine. So snowblower is gone. It didn't cost me a lot of effort, and it even made me some money. So that's good. And now that it's actually autumn and it's started to freeze in the nights, I'm also going to remove these bug screens from the windows. But yeah, that's the slightly peculiar end of the old snowblower story. So I think in earlier videos I may have talked about wanting to change our wood stove in the kitchen because it's a bit big, and we want to renovate the kitchen, so we wanted to change it for a smaller one. So it took a long time even finding someone who was willing to talk to us about that. I tried all kinds of plumbers and heating experts in the area, but there's just not much around here in the relative middle of nowhere. So I ended up finding someone about an hour and a half away that specializes in stoves, and even more so the water connected stoves, so wood stoves connected to a water system, hot water system. So they came by, gave us a quote, gave us a bit of a shock. I mean, we already knew it was going to be expensive, since the chimney also needed renovating. The costs were even higher than we were expecting, so we had to take a couple of days to think about that. But long story short, we did get a quote, we did get an agreement with the company. It was a very friendly man that takes the time for you. He called me a couple of times with some thoughts he had, some problems getting the quote together. So we just discussed it, and then he was here yesterday to drop off the new camine and to walk us through the steps of how it was going to happen. So hopefully, and we'll see how that goes in the coming days. They're coming tomorrow to disconnect the old camine, the old stove that's there now, and to measure the chimney, because they're going to put a metal duct through there with some heat insulating material, and then a few days later they're going to come back to start to install the new camine. So it's going to take 3 working days, maybe not the whole day of those 3 days, but they're going to be here for 3 days. And then of course the camine needs to be tested, like needs to be approved for use. So that's another day. And then hopefully, without any surprises, we'll be ready to fire it up by the end of the week. But we'll see how that goes. But anyway, here is the delivered new stove. I'll switch to the front camera. There it is. It's not much to look at now, but at least it's here. So it's going to happen now. Close the woof. Close it again. There we go. The first step of the kitchen renovation has been complete. So the first step was to replace the big wood stove with a smaller, still the same function, wood burning stove connected to the hot water system, but just 50 centimeters instead of 90 centimeters, or maybe it's 55, but so a lot smaller, so that we can fit a bigger stove with oven, induction stove with oven here on this side, and still have a corner there in the corner of the kitchen that makes sense. So yeah, we replaced this. It was just approved by the chimney sweeping company and stove approving company today. So it's still on, I think. Yeah. So it works well and it's all safe and approved. The only thing he said, if you notice that it doesn't burn the coals fully, so that if you're left with bigger lumps of coal at the end of a burn, then it might mean that you need a bit more air in the space. But we never had any issues with the previous one, bigger one, and that was so I don't expect any issues with this one either. So it has a lid that we can't fully open. You might not be able to see it on camera, but there's a kitchen cabinet here. So we'll yeah, I'll have to find a solution for that, but that's not the big priority, and it's also not a safety concern. So yeah, so this was replaced. As you can see, they also did some work on the chimney. So they only wanted to do the work if they could insert a new metal duct into the chimney with heat insulating material. So they opened up the whole wall, put a new duct in all the way to the top, and then yeah, put some cement on the top. So the man that was here from the yeah, testing approval company also said it looks perfect, nothing to remark on. So that's fine. And the plumbers that were here yesterday, they made some adjustments to the system, because the water used to go into an accumulator tank, or in a hot water boiler really, because they used to have this for the hot water to take showers and stuff, but we only use it for heating. So then it can just as well bypass the accumulator tank and just go through all the heating elements, the radiators, and then come back here, instead of having to warm up 100 liters of water before it goes into the heating. And there was a a valve that was set to a specific setting, and they opened that up all the way so that all the hot water goes into the system, instead of some of the hot water going back into the stove, which it was before. So all in all, a new stove, but also just some experts looking at the system and making some minor tweaks, so that for the first time yesterday it was, we had radiators that actually felt hot to the touch. Before, when we used to have the wood stove on for an hour or two, the radiators would get to maybe 35-40 degrees, so you could put your hand on and leave it there for a while, and that was okay. So the house would get warm, but not very quickly, and you would have to have the stove on for quite a while. So it would be like 24-25 degrees in the kitchen, and then upstairs it would start slowly warming up. So hopefully with these tweaks, changes, and the new stove, yeah, that also is a lot more efficient. And so the next step for the kitchen renovation would be to start looking into ovens, induction hobs, oven combinations to go here, and the new kitchen fan, and then probably take like this area, these 2 meters of kitchen, start on that, and then when that's done, actually buy and install a new kitchen. So first just do this area. Oh yeah, one more thing, this new stove wasn't height adjustable, and we wanted a kitchen that was yeah, higher than than what it is now, and we wanted this metal, so this stovetop area basically, to be at the same height as the kitchen. So they poured a little foundation of concrete to get it to the right height. So yeah, but now this chapter is done, and then after a bit of rest and maybe some other smaller projects, we can move on to the next chapter in the kitchen renovation book, project, whatever.